Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 22nd. Right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. Take a look at the Pacific Northwest up here. Plenty of clouds around, but we're going to try to sniff out some dry periods in the meantime. But I want you to remember this system out here. This is going to bring a dynamic storm to the Pacific Northwest as we go through the upcoming week here. And we're going to dive into those details as we go through the video this morning. But first things first, just a reminder, these daily briefings are not going away. I try to do these every single day. I'm probably about a 99% success ratio over the last few years or so. But I did a members only video yesterday. I'll do this from time to time, just a reward for my supporting members out there. And I just want to give thanks to all my supporting members. This channel is not possible without you. But for example, the video I did yesterday, we will talk about in today's video. So you're not missing out on anything. You just might get a little bit more information a little bit quicker if you are a supporting member. So let's take a look here at what happened yesterday. You can see precipitation here across the region, heavy at times, some thunderstorm activity, lightning strike right down towards Federal Way, and we had some lightning strikes off the Washington coast, up to Island County, eastern Washington. All of a sudden, you can see some of that heavy rain moving through as we went through the day yesterday, but you'll notice we're kind of drying out a little bit here today. Still some convergent zone activity up here. Looks like maybe it was Skagit, Snohomish County, yeah, a little bit of rain still ongoing there for some of the coastal areas. But largely speaking, we do get a bit of a dry period here today before the rain starts to move back in earnest tonight and on in through tomorrow and probably on in through Monday as well. So enjoy the break here today. But good news also on that is as we go through the day, Monday, we're going to start to dry out from south to north. And then Tuesday is going to be a very nice day. Wednesday, another pretty warm day as well in advance of a very dynamic storm coming into the region. More on that here in a moment. So last 24 hours, lightning strikes, Washington coast, Island County. There you can see those lightning strikes just down south of Seattle, eastern Washington, Idaho Panhandle, and British Columbia. A wider view of the same thing here. You can kind of see that over the north of the Hawaiian Islands. Thought that was a little bit interesting as well. So apparent temperature, let me update this and see where we are. You just subtract 7 from that. That's Zulu time or universal time, and you get 8:30. So pretty close to what I'm doing the briefing right now. And you can see apparent temperature, wind chill taken into account. Some chilly areas out there for the higher terrain. We are dealing with the cooler than normal conditions here off into early spring, courtesy of La Nina. Not at all unusual for La Nina. So if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station to help support the channel, click on the link down below to save 10% off. It does great smartphone app notifications. It'll tell you when lightning strikes nearby you, and it even does things like tells you when it starts raining. It's got a haptic rain gauge. So anyway, highly recommend that station. Now, Seattle, Tacoma, again, we've got new zones out there, so we should have some more accurate information, especially in the point-and-click forecast. And anybody living in some of the valleys and some of the foothill areas are really going to get better forecasts out of this as well. Continue to show that over the next couple of weeks as they just updated that a few days ago. And we go down towards Portland, not much going on. We go down towards Medford, Oregon, and you can see that we got some warmth coming in here Monday and Tuesday for some areas. Look at Medford, 75% chance by Monday of being greater than 75 degrees. Roseburg warming up quite nicely as well at Klamath Falls by Tuesday, 85% chance. And Spokane, we got snowfall incoming here for tomorrow, mainly above 2,000 feet, but it will be changing to rain by tomorrow afternoon. Spokane National Weather Service, always with the great graphics. They update these almost every single day. Somebody hard at work at 3:22 a.m. Thank your local National Weather Service representative. Now, taking a look here, European Artificial Intelligence, 500 millibar height. So a little bit of a bump here for Saturday, but then quickly this atmospheric river is bringing precipitation by the time we go towards Sunday morning back into the region. But we get this ridge building, and we're going to start to dry things out. It doesn't last too long, though, but we get a really nice day on Tuesday across much of the region, really ramping up the temperatures. I'll show you more on those here in a moment. But then look at this trough coming here, and this is kind of a negatively tilted trough. Could be destabilizing the atmosphere across the Pacific Northwest, and we could have some thunderstorm activity rolling across a big part of the area. I'll show you more on that here in a moment. We'll scroll through there. You see the trough not really in a hurry to go anywhere. It gets reinforced. Big ridge out here continues to drive this trough all the way down through the Gulf of Alaska and through the extended forecast, just getting reinforced time after time again. Look at the huge yin and yang, strong north-northeast flow, just continuing to carve that trough right down across the Pacific Northwest for chillier than normal temperatures through the first week of April. Now let's back this up because we're going to take a look at the next system as we go on in through next week. So this is what I mean by a negatively tilted trough. You can kind of see how the winds are starting to come back from the southeast towards the northwest. And again, there's going to be some warm conditions in place, some colder air moving in aloft, and then we're going to destabilize things. Thunderstorm potential will be coming in here on the day Wednesday for the most part. Maybe on Thursday for some portions as well. But this is the European ensemble mean. So the European is really set in and locked in with this system. It's going to be rolling in here as we go through the day Wednesday. So really good ensemble agreement. Confidence is increasing in this dynamic event. So let's break it down here. First, we'll start with today. There's Seattle and Portland. You can see mainly dry here, southwest BC as well. But then quickly as we go through this evening, Vancouver Island, western BC, Washington coast start to get hit by Sunday morning. It starts raining in Seattle, probably Portland as well. And man, this wants to hang out for a while. Some heavy rain for Vancouver Island, southwest BC, North Cascades at time off and on for Seattle, all the way on in through the day Monday. It gets hung up here across western Washington, a drippy, drabby, gray day, all the way on in through Monday night. But by Tuesday, we're going to quickly change things up and warm things up as well, and a very nice day here. But I got to caution you, there's still some clouds and they still could be hung up, but we will be warming up for the most part. But some areas like British Columbia here, you can see you're going to be in the rainfall, and it's going to be clipping some portions of Washington as you go through the day Tuesday as well, kind of what's known as a dirty ridge. And then we scroll off in towards Wednesday morning, and you notice these coming from south to north. That is the instability. That's when the thunderstorm potential is going to start to emerge here across the region. And some of these will be producing prolific lightning if the European, what it is showing, is correct. So here we go through Wednesday afternoon, and look at this continue to spread up across the region. By Wednesday night, it'll be spreading on into eastern Washington, up into British Columbia as our low just kind of sitting and filling off the coastline here all the way on into the day Thursday. Bound to be lightning activity with these storms east of the Cascades, Idaho, Rocky Mountains, western Montana, up across the Rockies of Canada as well. And then we scroll through there. The trough tries to start kicking through here. Onshore flow, probably some good mountain snows coming in here by the time we get towards the later portion of next week as well. And if we take a look at lightning flash density potential, so this is for this afternoon. You can see that threat is kind of kicked off towards Montana, Alberta, and whatnot, maybe some portions of eastern Idaho. But we go on in through Sunday. No lightning threat here across the Pacific Northwest. Monday, not really much of a threat to be talking about there as well. You might get some destabilization here as we go through Tuesday, as we get the trough digging down here and bringing that unstable air back up across the region. But watch as we go through Wednesday. Look at that, Wednesday morning, toggling back and forth here. That's about 11 a.m. Wednesday morning. The thunderstorm threat will be in place here, and then you can see this. I mean, that's pretty widespread. It's a pretty strong signal here for the Pacific Northwest. And then as you go through Wednesday night, Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, pretty good signal for eastern Washington, all the way through Thursday morning. There's Thursday afternoon, again, still unstable across the region there as well. Now, these lightning storms, these thunderstorms can be pretty fun. I captured this one almost a year ago. This flight was going from Seattle to Tokyo, and this, I believe, was ANA Airlines. I believe it was a Boeing 787, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, these thunderstorms can be very fun for the rare thunderstorm chances we do get here in the Pacific Northwest. One of the best shots I've ever captured, really anywhere, including in all my years in shooting Tornado Alley. This shot is just so rare and amazing that you could see it hit the Puget Sound as well. And one of my friends had to Photoshop an orca out there. Wouldn't that be amazing if you could actually see something out there, but kind of having fun with it there. So anyway, let's take a look at what's to come as far as winds, because we got some gusty winds to talk about a little bit here. As we go through the day tomorrow, you'll see it picking up across the northwest interior, some of the Washington coast. Get a bit of a surge of some wind here up the Puget Sound as well. But look at these winds on the east slope of the Cascades of Washington. They really get ramped up as we're going through the day Sunday, and some of these southwest winds could be blowing some dust around here as we go through Sunday into Sunday night as well for eastern Washington. So yeah, we got to watch out for these strong winds here. And if I put this into motion, I'll look at accumulated 10-meter max wind gusts. And you'll see some of these winds start to pick up here. Nothing too crazy, but you notice it'll get blustery. Maybe a 50-mile-per-hour gust for the Washington coast. But look at some of these winds here as you're going through the day on a Sunday. Again, watch out wind-prone areas out of the west. man, like Chelan, you're getting up away from the city of Chelan there. You're getting really strong winds showing up. Some of these gusts up over 60 miles an hour for some of these locations. And even across some of the, Ritzville area, maybe Moses Lake, getting pretty darn right gusty on the day Sunday as well. So this is day one thunderstorm outlook. Nothing to worry about there. And this is what's known as a sounding. This is Seattle, Tacoma. You're at the surface here, somewhere around 1,000 millibars. This is about 30,000 feet. That's about 39,000 feet. Well, what we're looking for here is, you see that pink line there? It is to the right of the temperature profile. So that is what is known as convective available potential energy. We know that the parcel of air will be free to rise here with the cold air aloft. So we know we're going to have some instability around on the day Wednesday. There's still some things that can go wrong where this event may not unfold as what it looks like right now. So we got to be careful with that. That's not a lot of CAPE there, but it is definitely enough to be kicking off lightning strikes across western Washington if things hold as they are. We'll be watching that here over the next couple of days. If we look off east a bit more, look at Walla Walla. I just randomly grabbed Walla Walla, and there's a lot of CAPE out there, eastern Washington, and this is for Thursday afternoon and evening as well. You can kind of see that profile, a very thick slice there, convective available potential energy, and you can kind of see it located right there. So there are all kinds of good information there. So what's known as a hodograph there as well. You can see the winds at the different levels also. This is a meteorologist's friend, these soundings. Now, looking at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, what we're looking here is a temperature profile that we're looking at a cross section. It's about 30,000 feet. There's about 10,000 feet right here. And as you can guess, as we go on in through the day Tuesday, we start to warm things up. And you can see that down near the surface as we do warm up on the day Tuesday. So get out there and enjoy that on Tuesday for areas who are in the sunshine and warming up. And then you can kind of see how we go right back down into our chilly temperatures here as we go through the extended forecast. And this is kind of a closer look. The top of this image here is at 10,000 feet, and there's the warmth there at the surface on the day Tuesday. And Wednesday is going to be another warm day when those thunderstorms start to spread across the region. Now, we can also look forward to having some short-range models. By the time we go towards tomorrow, we will have some of these in better range. But this is the North American model. I've stretched it out as far as I can here, and this is through Tuesday afternoon. You can see the system is developing off the coastline right there. So tomorrow we will have 24 more hours of that. We can kind of see how the trough starts to show up and compare it to what the European or the GFS is saying. If it starts to show what the European is saying, we get more confidence in the forecast incoming there. So that'll be something interesting. Now, daily 2-meter max temperature. This is what a lot of people want to know about. There's Seattle and Portland today. You can see maybe low mid 50s here and some mid upper 50s for eastern portions, especially lower elevations, chilly across the higher terrain. This is for tomorrow. We do start to warm up a bit here. You can get that warm, moist southwest flow, but of course, western Washington is going to be more rainy than the Willamette Valley, for example. But look at Monday. You're starting to show some 70s for Oregon. Still going to have that front draped over western Washington, but look at things really warming up east and down across the Willamette Valley. Not a bad day for a lot of areas unless you're across western Washington on Monday. But then look at Tuesday. We really ramp things up. Some 70s probably showing up, maybe even up towards Seattle, southwest BC, trying to warm up a bit here as well. I mean, look at this. Some upper 70s showing up in southwest Oregon. Quite nice. Wednesday, another warm day, but that's the transition day as that low is going to be spreading precipitation back up across the region. And you can imagine the warmer air at the surface and the warmer air moving up with this system is going to help to destabilize the atmosphere. But then look at that. Look from Wednesday to Thursday, kind of a shock to the system there as we cool things back down. There's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We don't get any warm temperatures after that as we start to drop things back down below normal again. Now, looking at what's coming up here, we're going to look at the extended forecast. There's that atmospheric river kind of hung up through Monday. Bit of a ridge there. We warm up on Tuesday. There's our dynamic storm off the coastline Wednesday. We scroll through Thursday, and again, the precipitation. Maybe we can squeeze, again, another nice day out of next Saturday. Again, you can kind of see how we temporarily dry things out. And then maybe even Sunday, another dry day in advance of this deep low off our coastal waters there. So you got to become an expert at sniffing out these dry days, and maybe we'll sneak a couple in there before we really start to turn the fire hose back at the Pacific Northwest, because look at this, just seems to be never ending. And some of these model runs through the extended forecast, there's 6 hours I'm clicking through here at a time, and you see there was just not much of a break there once you start to turn on that fire hose again as we get towards the end of the month. So again, you're timing them correctly. We'll be doing that as we go on and through the spring month here. It's something you got to get pretty good at here across the Pacific Northwest to make the most of your dry time. This is the 15-day precipitation anomaly here across the Pacific Northwest. Clearly, you can see we're going to be above average for the next 15 days. And this is 2-meter temperature anomaly. This is a 7-day running total here. So you can see by the time we're off into the first week of April, Pacific Northwest, largely speaking, is below normal. I mean, look at that signal April 4th through 11th there, all the way up through Alaska, down the West Coast, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. And that just hangs on for a long time. We're all the way towards the end of April here, and look at this signal for below normal spring temperatures. And I got to tell you, this is not out of the norm for these La Nina springs. This is kind of a classic La Nina signature there. Even though La Nina is waning across the equatorial Pacific, it still seems to have a hold in the atmosphere. Here's the 6 to 10 day through March 31st, 6 to 10 day precipitation, 8 to 14 day, yada, 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 rinse and repeat. Anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.